Find treasure now.
Uncharted, of an area of land or sea, not mapped or surveyed. And that is the Uncharted series in a nutshell. Uncharted is an action-adventure video game series. The Uncharted franchise follows a group of treasure hunters who travel across the world to uncover various historical mysteries. There are a total of 8 Uncharted games in the franchise, ranging from 2007 all the way to 2017. But we are only going to be focused on 4 of them: Uncharted Drake's Fortune, Among Thieves, Drake's Deception, and A Thief's End. And I replayed all of those in 2023 to see if they still hold up. Today, we're going to be focused on Uncharted 1, Drake's Fortune. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the other games in the franchise. So right off the bat, I can already tell you that I don't know how to feel about this game. This is probably the worst one that came out in the franchise. But at the same time, I have to give this game its props because it set up the whole series. The gameplay was mid at best. The story was okay, but the characters had almost no background to them at all. They're literally flatter than a piece of paper. So whenever something bad happened to them, I really didn't care that much. Like, we don't know who these people are. This whole game is about treasure hunter Nathan Drake, or as I like to call him, Master of Parkour. This man be climbing and jumping around like crazy. Accompanied by reporter Elena Fisher, recovers the coffin of his self-proclaimed ancestor, Sir Francis Drake, having located it from coordinates inscribed on a family heirloom, a ring that Nate wears around his neck, that states Sic Parvis Magna, meaning greatness from small beginnings. And fun fact, the Uncharted series used to be like my favorite. I even went all out to buy his little ring or whatever that he had around his neck. And I still have it to this day. Might as well put it on for the video. Nate really holds this ring near and dear to his heart. So this coffin contains Sir Francis's diary, which gives the location to El Dorado.
You devil.
But Nate and Sully discover an alcove that once held a large statue after following the diary to the indicated spot, and realize that El Dorado is not a city, but rather a golden idol.
These people, they're worshipping the damn thing. At least, I think they're people.
Of course. El Dorado, the Golden Man. Sully, it wasn't a city of gold. It was this. It was a golden idol.
Man, can you imagine what that thing would be worth now?
However, mercenaries led by criminal Gabriel Roman, to whom Sully owes a substantial amount of debt, and his lieutenant Navarro, intercepts Nate and Sully. Sully is then shot in the chest and collapses, but Nate manages to escape, encounters Elena, and flies with her to this island.
Whoa there, cowboy. That's for leaving me at the dock.
He's just in it for the money, y'all. He said, "Peace, Sully." And pretty much this whole game is a battle between the mercenaries and Drake, trying to figure out the secret of El Dorado. And let me tell you, this gameplay was rough. These enemies were eating bullets. Why did it take a full clip to get somebody down? I was hot. The mechanics were terrible. But what can you expect from a game that came out in 2007? But the gameplay was literally the same thing over and over again. No variety whatsoever. Just shooting a bunch of enemies down. They throw grenades, you can throw them back, yada yada yada. On the way to the anti-aircraft, fire forces Elena and Nate to bail out, and then they are separated. After retrieving supplies from the wrecked seaplane, Nate heads down to an old fort to find Elena. After Nate is briefly captured by pirates led by his old associate Eddie Raja, Elena breaks him free and they flee to an island's old custom house. After finding records that the statue was moved further inland to the monastery, they find that Sully is somehow alive and is accompanying Roman and Navarro. Nate and Elena find and rescue Sully, having survived due to Drake's diary blocking the bullet. Convenient, huh? And Sully explains that he was buying time for Nate by misleading Roman. Searching through the mausoleum, Nate overhears an argument between Roman, Navarro, and Eddie, revealing that Roman hired Eddie to capture Nate and secure the island, with the reward being a share of El Dorado, which is a repeating theme in all of the Uncharted games, let me tell you. Following Nate's escape, Roman doubts Eddie's abilities and ignores his claim that something cursed on the island is killing his men, leading him to dismiss Eddie and his crew. Regrouping, Nate and Elena find a passage leading to the treasure vault, in which they find the body of Drake, assuming that he died searching for the treasure. And this is where Nathan is like,
whoa, like, maybe we shouldn't go any further, guys.
and I'm like, boy, you are not about to give up right now. After all of this, I don't understand why people give up, like literally when they're right at the finish line. Eddie and a crew member. Shortly before, they are attacked by mutated humans who are basically like zombies, who kill crew members. Despite Nate's efforts, Eddie is also killed when one drags him into a pit. See, Nate has a good heart. But I'm like, ooh, that's unfortunate. Nate and Elena escape, pretty much just doing like endless gunfights with these zombie things, which what felt like forever. But they find themselves in an abandoned German bunker. Venturing into the base, Nate discovers that the Germans had sought the statue during World War II, but like the Spaniards before them, became cursed by the statue, causing them to become mutants. Sir Francis, knowing the statue's power, attempted to keep it on the island by destroying the ships and flooding the city before he too was killed by the mutants. Isn't that so nice of him, y'all? Nate returns to find Elena has been captured by Roman and Navarro. Regrouping with Sully, he fails to stop them from reaching the statue. Navarro, aware of the curse, tricks Roman into opening the statue, revealing it to be a sarcophagus containing a mummy infected with an airborne mutagenic virus.
Watch this.
Upon Roman turning into one of the mutants, Navarro kills him and takes control of his men. Everybody's just doing people dirty in this game, what can I say? He plans to sell the virus as a biological weapon. Nate jumps onto the sarcophagus and rides it all the way like an airlift onto this boat in the bay. He engages and defeats Navarro and manages to sink both the sarcophagus and him to the bottom of the ocean. Sully arrives, they leave the island with several chests of treasure, and that's the game. And one thing I have to say about Navarro is he is like one of the blandest video game villains ever. Like, he really has no backbone, no story arc. He was just like,
Find treasure now.
but really that was like almost every character in this game. Nate and whoever he was accompanied with at the time did occasionally have bits of entertaining banter back and forth, but nothing too crazy. I think the story idea is interesting, but at the same time the story was bland. Kind of like if someone bakes a pretty cake and you have to taste it, and it tastes like rotten trash sitting in an Arizona heat. But stories were so simple back then. They did not have to be this amazing story that's like 50 hours long. It could just be a mid-story and people would literally lose their mind over it and think it's the best thing ever. Overall, the game offered no variety. It was literally doing the same thing over and over again. Numerous gunfights, and climbing and jumping around. The shooting was horrible. I found myself just using a pistol the whole time because it seemed stronger and more accurate than most of the guns. So does this game stand the test of time? I don't think so. Not at all. I would give this game a 3 out of 10. I'm glad I got to re-experience it. I don't know if I'd play it again, but maybe I will, who knows. And even for a game that came out that long ago, there were still games that were doing it way better during that time. Like the GTA franchise, with San Andreas and Vice City, which definitely still holds up to this day.
Oh shit, here we go again.
And the God of War series. There are a lot of games that are that old, but but they were still doing their thing. What do you guys think? Have you played the first Uncharted? How do you like it? Do you think this game still holds up to this day? Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss my review on the rest of the series. Pause for now, play forever. AK out.